everybody? This is your host, Nick. And today we have the Gamechanger Audio Plus pedal. Like most of Gamechanger Audio's things, or pretty much all of them, they really are game changers, as you can previously find the plasma pedal reviewed here. But I really like it because it's a lot different than what one would expect. But with this one, this is a sustain pedal that can be used with anything, guitars and stuff like that. And it has plenty of little options where you can stack up to 5 different sustained notes. Really cool. I do have this cover because it is excessively reflective. And like I said in other videos of reflective things, we need people to focus on the reviews instead of just how stunningly handsome I am, because then no one would listen to the review and they would just gawk at me instead. Awesome. Anyway, so essentially the Gamechanger Plus is a very fancy audio processing style pedal where it is a whole, like inside there's a lot of circuitry. It's a lot heavier than what one would think, and it's a hyper sustain style pedal where you can have 4 normal controls here, which I will go over now. So first, the blend knob is just the volume of the wet signal, and they actually do make a wet pedal, because on the back you have the outputs, which if we're mixing it, we can have, so you see I have it more biased towards the sustained note as it's facing right there, as one would expect. The rise is the fade in speed of newer layers, where it won't be shown as much because I have it in single mode, but in group mode, when you can start stacking up to 5 layers, it makes a lot more sense. The tail here is, of course, like your spillover before you go and release it. So it's sort of just like, okay, how long will this last until we'll go and lift it up? And then finally, sustain is in single mode, it's just sustain, as one would go and suggest. Just like if we have it set to lower, it would make the signal seem like it's decaying a lot faster, whereas infinite, it's not going to change anything. But in group mode, depending on how many, well, where this is at, you can have between 1 to 5 layers. And those switches for group and signal are on the side here. And there's also switches on the side for split and mix, whether you want just the mix signal or just purely the signal. So here's a picture on the side for group and single. And then this is what I'm talking about for the sustain, what it would be like between 1 to 5 on the group mode. And then on the back, this is how, besides split and mix, they do have just the always clean out here, and then just the out, which would be your mix one, and of course your in. So this could be processed with a lot of different things. I would think it'll be, and actually just mentioned processing vocals, which I think would be pretty neat to try. I might put that into something else. But right now I am using the Hydrasynth in monophonic mode just to be able to get some more expressive signals out there. Now, there really isn't much I can do in terms of like, oh, well, this is what it sounds like without it or with it, because it is a technical, just purely a sustain. So the most we can do is just start going through the functionality. So we're going to keep in single mode right now. And let's bring the tail all the way down, the sustain down, and the rise down, but we'll keep the blend the same. So just starting, I'm going to use this note here, and then we're going to see what it's like when it gets sustained. And you see it ends pretty quickly. So now let's bring up the rise a little bit to the middle point. And then rise to maximum. Which you can see, it sort of just goes right into it. So we'll keep that in the middle because I think that's a good, good little part there. And then we can start messing with the tail. So tail's at nothing, which we'll just get. Now let's go tail to middle. And you see it takes a little bit, and then we just do a tail infinite. And obviously infinite means infinite. It will forever give that feedback even though it's not going. And then let's just start. We'll have a little bit of tail just because that sounds good. So let's get sustain to the middle. And then I want a little bit more tail. Let's go sustain to the max. Cool. Now I'm going to flick this over into group mode. And then we're going to keep sustain to 5. And I'm going to see if I can stack 5 notes. Well, let's just do a little bit more normal, just a low, medium, high. Or one cool thing is say I want to do a chord, but we'll just do it one note at a time. And you can hear they do start working together. Now, one other cool thing that this does have is right here on the sides, there is a send and return. So you can have another effects loop built into this, which is good because the whole thing with this is that they said in the manual and plus on their videos that this needs to come at the start of the signal chain, obviously, because it's going to be modulating everything else, but then you can have all your other effects feeding in and out of that. So one thing I think will be cool, and they mentioned like a good tremolo, just to be able to get a bit of a little choppiness, a little fun there, or even like a reverb to really widen the signal even more. But in terms of having more fun, which I really can't because I'm having to use one hand, I'm going to go ahead and put this to where I can use it with my foot, and then we're going to go and actually play a little bit better. So I can show it off a little bit more. But let me just try and dial in the sound first before we do that. And I think I'm going to do, possibly if I get like a very nice little, a pad would be really nice with this, obviously. Actually, I just had an idea that I could probably do if I go. I can go and set one sound as to sustain the whole time, and then I can play something else over it. So I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, let's Alright, quick cut, then we're going to go move down to where it needs to be. So let's go over the range now. The construction is very solid. It is heavy, strong, good. I have no issues with the construction whatsoever. Even the knobs up here are metal, so this is a 5 out of 5 thick, heavy construction type here. I have no issues with it. The pedal is solid. Under here it actually is nice and solid too. But again, you can look at pictures or look at the intro. I'm not pulling this off because we have to actually listen to the review. On the connections are great. On the back, the switches are great. So I have no issues with that. 5 out of 5. And for the sound, well, I mean, it perfectly sustains and has plenty of options to it. And for the whole deal of how it can be a sustain for, well, I mean, like pretty much anything. I mean, it's newer style thing that I saw, and once again, Gamechanger Audio is knocked it out of the park in terms of giving us something completely different. So I want to give it 5 out of 5. Very unique. That's able to be used with anything. Great job. So overall, it's 5 out of 5 effect. Good job, guys. So anyways, this has been your host, Mick. Go ahead and leave a comment if there's anything else you want to see this pedal on, and or if you just have any thoughts about the pedal itself. I personally found it very enjoyable, and I think a lot of other people can find very good use for it. Or just leave a comment to say hello, as it is appreciated, as it does help the algorithm. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe too, as that does also help boost the algorithm. And I would appreciate everyone else just sticking around and seeing what else I'm doing. So they are appreciated. But anyways, once again, this has been your host, Vic. Thanks for watching. Bye.